Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am doing a get ready with me plus a chit chat today. So if you are interested in seeing how I'm going to achieve a nice little glowy look, stay tuned. And I will also be talking about long distance relationships, okay? So where do I get started? I don't know, long distance relationships, a lot of people have a lot of cons about them. If you hear people talk about them, they always talk about how they just don't work, how it's so difficult and it's so hard, and probably I would say maybe 60% of them fail, but I'm going to tell you about one that worked, okay? So, well, first of all, I'm going to prime my face. Since I'm going to go with the glowy look, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier Radiant Primer, and this is in the color Radiant Bronze, and I'm just going to use a little bit. It does have like kind of a shimmer to it. It really honestly looks like tanning lotion, but I know it's not. It's a Radiant Bronze, and this helps give you a nice glow underneath your foundation. So I'm just going to use a little bit, and then I'm going to go in with the Becca in my problem areas. So I was in a long distance relationship for about 2 years before we finally got in the same city, vicinity, living together. And it's currently with the person that I am with now. So me and my boyfriend have been together for about 2.5 years now. And 2 of those years, really about 2 years and some months, really has been long distance. So I can tell you all about it, okay? I'm going to be using the Conceal and Perfect Milani foundation. I love this stuff. So how did we meet? So actually, we went to high school together. We went to the same high school, and we weren't really like friends in high school. We were more so just like classmates. We had mutual friends, and we had several classes together. I would say probably like my senior year is when I noticed him. When I say noticed him, like, I mean really like noticed him, got to talk to him, see him around and things like that, because we were in some of the same classes together. And I wasn't very fond of him. Like, he actually really got on my nerves because he, I don't know, I just always thought he was just, I thought that he thought he was just too cool. Like, you know, too cool for school. Not too cool for school, but, you know, I felt like he thought he was the it guy, which he may have been a little bit. I mean, he played football, you know, he was well known. And, you know, sometimes he was kind of like a class clown. Like, he would pick on me and not make fun of me, but, you know, extra stuff, calling me big head or playing with my nickname. Like, my name was Mal Pal in high school. A lot of people called me that because my name is Mallory, and it's easier to call me just Mal, but I don't know how it started, but it stuck. It was Mal Pal. And he was just so extra. Like, he would call me Lap Lamb, which is Mal Pal backwards, because he just wanted to be extra. Like, I don't know. He would just got on my nerves in high school. And after high school, I think he might have hit me up on Facebook or something, you know, and, you know, hey, how's it going? You know, good. By this time, I was in college. I was away at school in Ohio. And I believe he was still back home in Illinois or about to move to Atlanta. I'm not sure which one it was. I'm going to go in with my NARS concealer and just kind of conceal underneath my eye a little bit. So basically, to make this long story short as far as how we met, after high school, we somehow got back reacquainted, and we were friends for about maybe 5 years. Like, this time I would say it moved from just classmates to like associates, very, very platonic friendship. We would only talk like on the, well, not really on the phone, but we would only text like maybe a good 2 to 3 times out of the year. And we would talk on the phone like maybe a couple of times throughout that 5 years. But mostly, you know, we would just text and stuff, and it was very platonic. There was really like no flirting, no nothing like that. I mean, during that 5 years, he had situations and relationships. I had situations and relationships and situationships and all that. So, you know, we weren't really on it like that. After I graduated college, you know, he was doing music overseas, and I saw him on Facebook, and he said something about it, and that's how we got back reacquainted. And that was like April or May of 2013, and ever since then ever since then he's been in my life. So yeah, that's how we met. How it became long distance was because, like I said, when we were dating, I moved back home to Illinois after I graduated, and at this time he was in Atlanta, you know, pursuing his music and, you know, working and all that type of stuff. And you know, it was a friendship, and it started to become, you know, something else basically. Next, what I'm going to do is just highlight and contour. And for my highlight, I am going to be using NC45, MAC NC45. Just going to be doing it underneath my eyes. So basically in 2013, we started talking. When I say talking, I don't even mean like talking like that. We were just, you know, more frequent with the conversation, and we started to text every day, and it turned into talking on the phone. And I tried to fight it for the longest time because, you know, I was like, you know, this is long distance. I don't know if this is gonna work. I felt like he was feeling me, you know, and I was kind of feeling him, but I was trying to stop myself because it's like, okay, he's all the way in Atlanta, you know, I'm just graduated. I'm kind of trying to do me. You know how that goes. So basically what happened was we started talking a lot more, and feelings started to develop. And by this time, I had not seen him at all since high school, guys, okay? Not even in passing after high school. Like, it had been however long, 5 years, 4 or 5 years, 6 years, whatever, since I had been out of high school, and I have seen him. So I haven't seen him. We've only been like, you know, sending each other pictures. We would Skype here and there, but I had not like physically been next to him, seen him since high school. So September of 2013, he came home to visit, and that was the first time that I saw him. And since high school, I was so nervous. And still at that time, we had not made it official yet. We basically were still talking. We know we had feelings for each other, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't until I went to visit him in Atlanta for the first time in August of 2013 that I was like, okay, this is going to be our date when we made it official, okay? So that's how we met, and that's how we started dating, okay? Now, into the long distance relationship aspect of the situation. Since we were living in 2 different states, and you know, we could not see each other physically, all we could do was communicate and talk, which I think was really good for our relationship because it built a respect, I guess, and a friendship, some type of friendship, because we weren't always together, you know? I feel like sometimes when you jump into a relationship before you're friends, the lust aspect can grab hold of you before that like genuine love and friendship forms. So I think that was a plus for us. So where the difficulty comes in, when it comes to long distance relationships, I would say is in the missing factor, and if you don't have any trust, okay? So when you're away from someone that you really love, it gets to you. Do you understand me? It really does. It gets to you, you know? You want to be with this person, you love this person, but you can't see this person. You can't physically see, can't physically touch this person. You know, you go out and you see everybody booed up and hugged up with their significant other at the movies, you know what I'm saying, at restaurants, all of that, and it makes you sad, you know. It makes you sad, and it makes you think sometimes, like, I don't know if I can really do this. Like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to be the time, you know, where we'll be together? Also, trust. If you don't trust your partner, long distance will not work. It just won't. Because you'll always be arguing. You'll always be thinking that the other person isn't being faithful or truthful or honest, or they're doing things, you know, that you think they shouldn't do in a relationship. It puts a strain on it. Also, something else that will hinder a long distance relationship from not working would be if both parties aren't totally 100% into making it work. I have had a lot of people who you know, try to discourage me from being in a long distance relationship the time that we were. I had a lot of people who were like, you know, he's doing this, he's doing that. What man, you know, is gonna do long distance and not talk to somebody else? It's just a lot. And that's another thing. You can't listen to the naysayers. Like, you know, I know your friends have your best interest at heart, but really in a relationship, whether you're long distance or not, you shouldn't really bring other opinions into your relationship. That person isn't with that person. That person doesn't talk to that person every day. That person doesn't know your significant other. So you have to be careful with that. But I would say the most important thing, both parties have to be 100% in it, because if they aren't, it's not going to work. One thing that I can say is that we were both 100% in it. Like, and two, you have to be busy. Like, if one person is busy and the other person is just not doing anything, not working, not going to school, bored with their life, they have nothing to do but think about that other person and what they're doing, and that hinders, that puts a strain on it. So I would say we both kept very busy, you know, with our jobs, him with his music and his working, and, you know, he had friends there and all of that. Same for me. You know, I was busy working, and I was busy, you know, doing makeup around the city and all that. So, you know, we didn't have time to just really just sit around and think about us not being together. And then when we would get together, it would be blissful, you know, because we missed each other so much. But I will say, and I know people have done long distance way longer than I have, you know, way longer than two years. But for me, I know somebody would have to make a change, a transition, a move at some point, because you can't do it forever. And I was starting to come to that point, you know, like, okay, I'm tired of this. Like, I wasn't ready to throw in the towel or anything like that, but it was coming really close. I'm not going to do much on the eyes. I'm just going to put two colors, maybe like Saddle by MAC and the crease to warm it up, and just something very neutral on the lids, because I want it to be very neutral and glowy. One thing I can say is that we were definitely 100% in. I know he loved me to death, or loves me to death. For a guy to be so far away and we can't see each other frequently like that, and for him to be so consistent with me and so patient and so kind, and because, you know, I would give him the runaround, you know, I would make it difficult for him a little bit, but he stuck it through, and I stuck through him with the stuff he had going on. And I think we genuinely had a care about each other. We genuinely cared about each other. And the fact that we were friends first, it's like you sometimes kind of think of that sometimes outweighs the love you have for that person. The reason why I say that is because with us being friends first and we genuinely caring about each other, and we were able to build a friendship, sometimes like when we would argue, or, you know, when things would get really tough, I know me personally, you know, I would think like, you know, this is my friend, like I don't want any ill will towards him. Like, I want him to be happy no matter what that means, you know, whether that's with me, whether that's with somebody else. You know, that friendship, that caring part would like kick in, and it would sometimes bring us back together. So, you know, I'm not gonna say it was all peaches and cream. It wasn't. It was very difficult, but I think that aspect of our relationship kind of helped to make us stronger, like our relationship stronger, along with some other stuff we were dealing with in the relationship. But, you know, in order for a long distance relationship to work, you definitely have to have communication and honesty, and both parties have to be in it. So if you are in a long distance relationship, I would just say, you know, if you think it's worth it, and if you think the other person definitely has your best interest at heart, and they're really all in it as well, and you see a future with this person, I would say to stick it out. Like, build a united front. Make sure you guys communicate. You know, that you frequently let each other know that you miss each other and you love each other and you're thinking about each other and you can't wait to see them. For those of you who don't feel like, you know, your other partner is 100% in, but you are, maybe you need to reevaluate and really have a conversation like, you know, do you think we need to take a break, or are you all in? Because you don't want to be heartbroken. You don't want to waste your time, especially if you're in it for like a year or more. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your time if it's like a few months. So that's pretty much, you know, my take on long distance relationships. I really wanted to do and I may still do it, but I really wanted to do a more in-depth video on long distance relationships because, I mean, it's not talked about a lot, but a lot of people are in them. And I actually wanted my boyfriend to do it with me so we can kind of get the male perspective of it, because, you know, as women, we are so emotional. And so our way of thinking and how something happened may be different than the way, you know, he thought something happened. But if you guys are interested in seeing something like that, like a video with both me and my boyfriend talking about it, just let me know, because I think that'll be very helpful, just to kind of hear a male's perspective of, you know, what they think they went through. Just playing. But yeah, if you're in a long distance relationship right now, and like I mentioned before, if you think it's good and it's worth it, like, definitely stick it out, you know. And don't listen to whatever people are saying, because that definitely can ruin it. If you don't trust your partner, that's something that you guys are going to have to build, especially if you know it's you. When I say that, I mean, if you don't trust him because of things that have happened in the past and past relationships and things you have to deal with in past relationships, then kind of work on you, you know, and not holding him to the standard that you hold men now because of your last relationship. And I know that can be difficult as hell. Again, I'm trying to keep this look really natural, so I'm not going to put on any blush. I'm just going to do a little highlighter, a little bronzer to give me some nice little glow. And y'all know I'm definitely going to be using the Bobbi Brown Bronze Glue. Yeah, so pretty much, you know, that's all I have as far as my quick, you know, short version of long distance relationships. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in you know, my boyfriend coming on with me and then it's going like in depth about it, just comment below and let me know. If you like these chit chat videos, let me know that too, because this is something different for me. I'm gonna take my MAC Fix Plus. It's not spraying right, so I'm gonna try to just spray it over my face really quick, and I'm just gonna do some lip gloss. The lip gloss I'm using is just gonna be NYX's Butter Gloss, and this is in Madeline. It's a nice like nude lip gloss that I absolutely really love. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please thumbs up, comment, subscribe. If this was long, I'm sorry. This is my first time doing it, so hopefully next chit chat I'll be able to shorten it a little bit, but I hope you learned something. If not, I hope you just enjoyed what I had to say about long distance relationships. Until next time, I will see you guys in another video.